Hey everyone, today's video is about when you get badly injured. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and let's get going. The night was unusually quiet as you and Bakugou walked through the apartment after a long day of hero work. It had become routine for the two of you to unwind like this, enjoying the calm after the chaos of saving lives and facing danger. Your hand was tugged into his, a rare display of affection that he reserved only for you, away from the prying eyes of the world. Katsuki, don't you think it's too quiet tonight? You asked, glancing around. He grunted in response, scanning the area with narrowed eyes. Maybe. Or maybe you're just paranoid, he said, though his grip on your hand tightened. You chuckled softly, knowing that even though he played it cool, Bakugou was always on alert. His sharp instincts were a part of why he was one of the best heroes, and it was comforting to know that he had your back. But your instincts were right this time. The ground beneath you rumbled as a loud crash echoed through the park, followed by a blast of energy that sent you both sprawling. Your body slammed into the ground, pain shooting through your side. Shit, Bakugou yelled, immediately on his feet, explosions crackling in his palms as he stood between you and the source of the attack. You struggled to get up, wincing as pain radiated from your limbs. Something was wrong, and it wasn't just the throbbing ache in your body. The villain, a hulking figure, breathed in the dark energy, approached. His eyes locked onto you. He must have been watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. Bakugou's voice cut through the chaos, furious and determined. Get up, damn it. We're not done here. You pushed yourself up, but the pain was too much, and your vision blurred. Before you could even react, the villain's energy blast hit you like a full force, knocking you back down. You gasped, struggling to breathe, screaming in agony. No! Bakugou's voice was raw with rage. He launched himself at the villain, explosions roaring from his hands as he attacked, with a fury that you had rarely seen. But even in his ferocity, he never lost sight of you. Katsuki. You choked out, your voice weak. Every movement felt like fire in your veins, but you couldn't stay down. Not when you knew how reckless he could get when he was angry. The villain was strong, stronger than he expected, and Bakugou was having to give it his all. You could see it in the way his explosions grew more intense, the sweat dripping from his brow. But he was winning. Of course he was. Bakugou Katsuki did not lose. With one final earth-shattering explosion, the villain was thrown back, his dark energy dissipating as he crumbled to the ground, unconscious. Bakugou stood over him, chest heaving, his body radiating power. But all he could focus on was the pain, and the world around you was starting to blur again. You collapsed onto the ground, the sharp ache in your chest growing worse. Your vision dimmed, and you could hear Bakugou's voice distantly calling your name. Boy, stay with me. Don't you dare pass out, you hear me? You tried to answer, but the words wouldn't come. The pain was overwhelming, and you could feel yourself slipping away, the darkness pulling you under. But then his arms were around you, pulling you closer. You felt the familiar warmth of his body, and you fought to stay conscious for him, because you knew how much it would tear him apart if you gave in. Breathe, damn it. You're not allowed to die on me. His voice was shaking now, the usual confidence replaced with something desperate. You forced your eyes open, just a little, to see him kneeling beside you, panic etched on his face. His crimson eyes were wild, filled with fear that you had never seen before. Katsuki, you whispered, your voice barely audible. I'm okay. I'm still here. Like hell you're okay. He growled, though the crack in his voice betrayed his fear. He gently lifted you into his arms, careful of your injuries, and stood up. We're going to the hospital. You're not. He managed a weak smile, cutting him off. You worry too much. Shut up. He snapped, but his hold on you tightened. You almost died. Don't you dare joke about that. As he carried you through the park, you could feel the tension in his body. He was angry, but not at you. He was angry because he couldn't stand seeing you like this, hurt and vulnerable. The truth was, Bakugou Katsuki was terrified of losing you. I won't leave you, he murmured softly, your head resting against his chest. I promised, didn't I? He didn't answer for a moment, just kept walking, his jaw clenched tight. When he finally spoke, his voice was low and rough. Yeah, well, you better keep that promise. He knew him well enough to hear what he wasn't saying. I can't do this without you. By the time you reached the hospital, your strength had all but left you, and Bakugo was barking orders at the staff as they rushed to help. Even as they wheeled you to the emergency room, he refused to let go of your hand. His eyes locked on yours, as if wanting you to stay awake, or stay with him. The last thing you saw before stepping into unconsciousness was his face, etched with fear and love, the softest expression that you had ever seen from him. You woke up hours later in a hospital bed, bandages wrapped tightly around your chest. The sterile scent of disinfectant filling the air. The pain was still there, but dulled now, and as you slowly came back to yourself, you realized you weren't alone. Bakugo sat in the chair beside your bed, slumped over with his arms crossed, his head resting on the edge of the mattress. He looked exhausted, his usually spiky hair more disheveled than normal, dark circles under his eyes. Katsuki, he whispered, reaching out to gently touch his hair. He stared at the sound of your voice, his eyes snapping open. The moment he saw you awake, relief washed over his face, though he quickly masked it with his usual scowl. Idiot, you scared the hell out of me. I know. I'm sorry. Just don't do that again, got it? I can't. I won't. I'm not going anywhere. Good, because you're stuck with me. I wouldn't have it any other way. And as he leaned in to press a gentle kiss to your forehead, you know that no matter what came next, you would always have him by your side. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you liked this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and goodbye!